Hello, Solid Source family. We are here with Bob Goff. Bob, thank you for being at Agent Appreciation Day 2020 style.
Come on, a solid source family. I am so glad to be with you. It's like even though we're apart, we're together. This is just
Yes.
really special to be part of it again.
Well, I'm so thankful, Bob, for not just your heart and everything that you're doing around the world, still, even in the middle of a global pandemic. But seriously, everything that you are pumping out, content, it's incredible. And we are so excited this year to deliver Agent Appreciation Day in a box because that's where we are in 2020. But your Dream Big book is the big gift. And I just want to tell our agents, wow, you know what? When I went to the first Dream Big seminar in 2016, and then again a few years ago, those are the biggest changes that I've ever had in my life. And for you to write that book, so it was so easy to share, I just can't even thank you enough. It's amazing. Even better on Audible, but we couldn't send that in an Age Appreciation Day box. But I just want to thank you for writing it. It's out of this world and it's so appropriate, like right now.
Well, I love even what Solid Source has been doing. This is just, I love being able to report back into you because of the generosity of the entire team there. We've got books on library shelves in Uganda, computers in the laps of kids. There, it isn't just Uganda, it's also Somalia, and Mogadishu is kind of a rough place. And you guys are part of a couple schools that are happening there. And then get this, since we were together last in person, we started schools in Afghanistan. Let me back that up. You started schools in Afghanistan. The school is in the former capital of the Taliban, and the Taliban won't teach little girls how to read and write. We're teaching little girls how to read and write. And there's something beautiful that happens about that. It's a scrappy, focused faith. It's a strategic whimsy. It isn't just a bunch of balloons and confetti. It's saying, I know why we're doing what we're doing. And I just want to thank each and every one of you and for your leadership, Michelle, in just getting us there because you're literally impacting lives around the world.
Well, just thank you because you know what? We know when you're doing something that you have already vetted it and it's a go. And so even just seeing that those university students in Afghanistan are going to be teaching,
Oh,
dream big curriculum and being able to carry that flag, I mean, that changes lives and not just here about but around the
oh,
world.
this is there 170 young Afghan leaders. This isn't conceptual. We flew to Kabul and met with them.
Of course you did.
That'll keep you regular. But there's something really beautiful about that to just say, hey, the question that we're asking them is the question we'll talk about tonight, which is, what do you want?
Mm.
Why do you want it? And what are you going to do about it? So I'm just so anxious to be able to talk to everybody tonight a little bit about those and a couple other questions.
Well, Bob, I mean, I'm going to kick it over to you. I mean, I know that your book made the New York Times bestseller immediately. Congratulations yet again. But
Oh, well, I think it made the New York Times because you guys were part of the caper. But thank you. I'm telling you, there's something beautiful, Michelle, about having a worldwide family of friends. And you're making that happen both regionally and city by city, but your reach is stretching across the Pacific and the Atlantic. And just really fun to be doing this together. So thank you.
well, it's a blessing for us too. I always think, people can only move at the speed of trust. And we just love you and trust you, Bob.
So
And
good.
your whole team, everybody there is so amazing. And just thank you for vetting everything before you will even let us be involved, even if we wanted to jump in earlier. And
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Sometimes what will happen is somebody will have an idea and they don't know if it'll work or not. And so then they throw everybody into that. But we'll be like kind of first ones in to make sure this thing is blue chip. And then we'll say, we know it's going to work. And then to have the support of you and this massive generosity that all of you've done. So thank you.
Well, thank you
Somalia,
so
Uganda,
much.
Iraq, Afghanistan. It's crazy. Nepal, India, crazy.
But it's the people that really can't do for themselves. And that's where I feel like your heart is and where my heart is and where God has called so many of us. It's not people that just get to call 911 in a case of emergency or get on food stamps or welfare. As valuable as those programs are, those don't exist in those countries. And
Yeah,
without what you're doing, even the dental care, when people see that, I mean, children at your school getting dental care for the first time. I mean, that's just amazing, and it's amazing to even participate in it. So thank you.
nobody even has any idea of the impact that makes on a family and just the pride that you get to say, we're taking care of your insides and
Yeah,
your outsides. And we're going to clothe you and feed you and teach you. And I think some of the best stories are going to be the ones that we'll share when we get on the other side of heaven's curtain.
I do too.
And I think we'll spend a long time. That's probably why eternity takes a while. And people will say, these are the stories. This is how you impacted me. You didn't even know I was in another country, but because you did this, this is what happened to me. So,
Thank you, Solid Source family, because all of you guys are a part of it. And we wrote this in our flyer that we sent out in our Agent Appreciation Day box. But just none of us could do this by ourselves. It's just that together we can make a difference. And so we're so thankful. Well, Bob, let's talk about Dream Big because I can't wait for our agents to dive into it. I've got
yeah.
a
Well,
favorite
you
part.
guys are the dreamers. And so I want to talk to you about that for a second. Think about your first car. Everybody got that in mind? Think about your first, like the person when you touch knees on purpose. It wasn't just like, oops, it was like you're a thing the first time. Okay. Think about your first day at school. Here's the deal. We always remember our first, right? First car, first kiss. But here, let me ask you this. What's your fifth car? What was about the fifth day of school? It'd be like, I don't know, man. They all just start kind of blurring together. It was Revelations 2, and faith is a big deal for me, so I'll talk about that. But if it isn't a big deal for you, the principles of loving each other apply across the
Yeah.
board. And the problem is this. He said, my problem is you forgot your first love. And what I want to do when it comes to ambition is go back and visit some of the things we wanted to do, maybe dust off some of those ambitions. And I remember in junior high school, my ambition was to go out on a date. I wanted one in the worst way. Never happened. I got to high school, same ambition, go out on a date. Nothing. I get to college. So I squeezed 4 years of college into 5 years. Same ambition, no dice. I mean, with a face like this. I was in my second year of law school, and Maria walked through the door, and I'm like, yes, you will be mine. And so now she didn't want to go out on a date with me, but I heard she was going to go to this camp and she was going to bring 10 high school girls to volunteer to like tidy up and like do the dishes and all that. So I got 10 high school guys and I said, we're going to be adjacent to her. And on the first night, there was this elderly woman and her pacemaker stopped. She face planted in the spaghetti. She is gone.
Oh my
Like she is out. But I knew how to do CPR. And for the next 30 minutes, I am pushing on her chest and breathing into her wrinkled lips, and she didn't die. And I think Maria thought this guy is not much to look at, but he can be useful in a crack.
hero.
So fast forward 34 years, they put the camp up for sale. And so we bought it. And so it was a junior high school camp, and it smelled like 400 young men had not taken showers for 40 years. So we stripped it down to the drywall and we rebuilt it. Right when we were done, COVID happened. I was like, no. So we've got this empty, awesome camp that's all leather furniture and it's suites now, and we don't have bunk beds. And we've got it empty because nobody can be here in California. But you know what was adjacent to that?
What?
Was a field. And in the field was a barn. And next to the barn was a horse racing track. So I got the field, I got the barn, and I got the track. Now,
Wow.
I don't know anything about horses. My only interaction with a horse, it was made of fiberglass. I put a nickel in it in front of the grocery store when I was a kid. I don't even know what in to put the hay in. But here's the deal, because I looked to what was adjacent, I had an ambition. My ambition was to go out on a date. I couldn't get the date, so I decided to get adjacent to wherever Maria was. I got an ambition. It was to get a camp. The camp didn't work, so I said, what's adjacent to that? And his horse, get this, we raise racehorses there now. They're not my racehorses. I can't afford them. These are like racehorses that are syndicated. They're owned by many wealthy people. I told
Wow.
them, the people that work there, most of them are jockeys. I said, if one of these horses breaks its leg, don't shoot it, shoot me, because I cannot afford this horse. But the last two horses flew in, get this, on chartered cargo jets from France over the pole to train at this place. And so every morning we've got over 20 racehorses that are there
Wow.
training every day. Here's my point. If you can't get at your ambition, I want you to say, what is adjacent to my ambition? And to
Mm.
say, so it's that idea of adjacency that's going to get there. In keeping with this horse analogy, think of Paul Revere. Paul Revere had a really important message. He was going to let everybody know the British were coming. So he
Right.
had an important message and he had a fast horse. But what we sometimes do is we're so busy with all the distractions of the day that we end up shooting the horse and we don't get the message out. And there's three ways to kill a horse I figured out. You can bore it to death, you can scare it to death, and you can ride it to death. And so what I want to do is talk about bored horses.
Mm.
Bored horses are ones that don't go out and stretch their legs. They call it getting soured in the barn. They just don't stretch their legs. What I want you to do, I'm not just talking about taking a walk, but I want you to take a breath. Just do that with me. We're not going to do yoga here, but just take a breath. Like, there's something about that, man. It is a stressful time. And what I want you to do, if you're going to lead with the kind of love, if you're going to have your head on a swivel and see these ambitions, I want you to take a breath so you can look around, head on a swivel, looking for the opportunities that are
Mm.
adjacent to you. You can also scare a horse to death. If a horse gets really frightened and you make it continue to go, it can literally just like fall over. You got a dead horse, which is a big problem in every sense of the word. And then the third thing you can do is you can ride the horse to death. Some of you are working so hard. You just need to chill out. Get a puppy if you need to, but just because you've got an important message, you should take a breath, take a walk, like take a look around at what's adjacent to you. And I don't know what some of your ambitions are. Let's dust off an old one. I don't know if you want to get a bagpipe and a kilt, but something. But I would say there's something more strategic. And so this is where we come to that question, like, what do you want? Why do you want it? And what are you going to do about it? So the what I want was a date. I had to ask myself, why do I want it? And the answer was, I was lonely. I actually get lonely. And some of you do too. And for some of you, this has been a super lonely time. And the one way to deal with loneliness is authenticity. I love that you are a family at Solid Source, that you can just find people to say, I don't care what it looks like. Let me tell you what's really going on in my life. I coach a couple outfits that you guys know, and I have them draw pictures of what does it look like to be them right now. And they'll draw me these pictures and they're really telling, maybe do that with your kids if you have them or someone that you love to say, what does it feel like to be you right now? What I don't want us to do is live together in isolation. I get it. We're supposed to be spread apart, but that doesn't mean we're supposed to be isolated from one another. So find a way to communicate that. And the way to deal with this stuff, this loneliness, is authenticity. I have a problem with that. And it's not pridefulness, but three people wanted to go down and ride on these horses. And I got about three nice horses, but all the rest of them are like breathing fire. They're like race horses. They win triple crown, like they're big, fast horses. So there was only three nice horses, but knowing nothing about horses, I just threw a saddle on a gigantic brown horse. And oh my gosh, what a mistake. I got on this horse briefly. It took off running and bucking at the same time. And it threw me off after about 40 really fast feet. And I landed, fortunately, right on my head. And everybody ran up and they said, "Are you okay?" And I sprung to my feet, with like blood coming out of my eyes and ears. And I said, "Of course I'm okay," and laughing. And I knew I was lying. They knew I was lying. But I have to ask myself, like, why didn't I just say, "I don't even know who you are"? I don't even know who I am. Like, I don't know how many fingers you're holding up. And really, I wasn't trying to fake it. What I didn't want to be is a buzzkill. I
Mhm.
just didn't want to be the guy to wreck everybody's day. They were there to have fun. And I'm the guy that's all been into pretzels. And so, what I want you to do is to practice authenticity. And what you're going to find is the adjacency, people are going to draw in towards that.
Mhm.
But don't you dare try to fix one another. I
Yeah.
just want you to just take an interest in one another, be very real and very present. And so I'm working about on those things to be truly kind of where my feet are every day, to not be distracted by these things.
Right.
Break it in half. I know it's $1,000, but do whatever you do. Put it in a gun safe. But whatever it is to make yourself fully present, that's where you're going to get some clarity on why you're doing what you're doing. So what do I want? Why do I want it? And then decide, what am I going to do about it? And we live these really conflicted lives. I teach up at Pepperdine Law School, and I got behind this fire engine red like sports car, and the top's down. I don't know what it was, a Ferrari or something. And the license plate, it's this custom license plate. It said Amish. I can think he was probably just either backslidden or in a hurry. But what I want us to do is to figure out, why do we live these conflicted lives? That's what Paul said in one of his letters. He said, "I just keep doing what I don't want to do, and I don't do what I do want to do." And so what you're going to find in the book, Dream Big, is this idea of to find a new groove and carve it into your brain, and then go Grand Canyon on it. Like, to just say, how am I going to go about doing things differently? And so part of this is to say, what's adjacent? What's something that a little different, but it's a little bit adjacent to what I'm doing? And then find a way to get there. Navigate your way towards that in humble ways. What I want us to do is change the headline for this year. I don't want 2020 to be virus attacks, world. What I want to do is change the headline to Bob Goff wakes up to who he really is and all the opportunities. And so while I stopped traveling and speaking and going to all the schools and all that, I've just been fully present here. And I'm saying this is just making up all kinds of things that are available. And what we want to do is to stay centered. You guys all know the story about David, the David, right? It's a marble block, and two different artists tried to make a run at it. They're like, they bailed on it. Then young Michelangelo comes. He's 26 years old, and he sees something in the block of marble that nobody else does. And so he stands it up on end and he chisels this out. And so there's the David in Florence standing. He's buck naked. He could use a tunic, but there he is. You know what? The David was carved 2 degrees out of center, just 2 degrees.
Wow.
And you know what? It worked fine in the 1500s and the 16 and 17 and 18 and 1900s. Do you know what are happening right now? His ankles are cracking. A tunic and some leg braces. You can look like Forrest Gump here. But what I want us to do is to realize where we're a couple degrees off. Because if we can sort that out, that's going to be the key to unlocking. It's like when the Hubble telescope went into space, it doesn't look at the stars that are close by. It looks at the spaces between the star. And if you want to get back in touch with one of your ambitions, let's start looking at the spaces in between the stars. You know some fixed points in your life. You've got an economic engine, which is your day job. But I want to say, and you know what you're doing with some of your philanthropy, you're knocking the socks off of kids in all of these different countries with Love Does and so many other people that are benefiting from your generosity. But I want you to say, what's another ambition? And what I want you to do is by doing that and getting real about it with people, it's like you're changing the headline for this year. We stopped saying the word virus around here because I'd made it almost 61 years without saying it once. What we called it is glitter. We said, don't get the glitter on you. And so what we want to do is take this very serious thing, but come up with a way that we could carve a new sense of awareness. Because I'm not trying to scare the horse to death. I'm not trying to ride the horse to death. I'm not trying to bore the horse to death. What I'm trying to do is be fully, fully present this year. And if you can do that, knowing who you are, where you are, what do you want, that's the key to get there. Think about this, who you are. That isn't just what your driver's license say or the diplomas you've got on your walls, but like, who are you? I've got another question. It's like, who does God say you are? Like he just says that you're his if you want to be. Where are you? You know, when you walk into a big shopping center or a mall and there's a map on the wall and there's an X and says, you are here. Just figuring out like, where am I in all this thing? The reason they sell Dippin' Dots at the mall is because people forget what they came for. Nobody goes to the mall to pound Dippin' Dots. They're awesome, but you don't go. What you do is you forget why you really came to the mall and they're waiting for you. So what I want us to do is have a lot of clarity about why we're doing what we're doing, who we are, where we are. And I'm right back to what do you want? It was the message that Jesus asked every blind guy, what do you want? And I guess I want to ask us that. Like what I want is love and acceptance. I want some camaraderie that Michelle, you and the team are offering. I've felt part of your team because you just kind of reached out. I felt this big air hug from San Diego. Yeah. And I think there's something, miss out on the power of your words, the power of you showing up in people's lives. Here's the crazy part. We have 27,373 days on average that we live. A little bit more if you eat broccoli and a little bit less if you eat Pop-Tarts. So you know who you are. But what I want us to do is to say with the time that I have remaining, and who knows what that'll be, what's the impact? What do I want the headline to be? And I just want the headline to not be about me, and I don't want to be about the worries, and I don't want it to be about the distractions. Because faith guides my step, I know it guides many of your steps. I want to have it be about God showing up in the world. And that's the beautiful celebration, whether you celebrate Hanukkah or Christmas. I just watch for me, I'm celebrating like Emmanuel, God with us. And you know why he came with us? So we could be with each other. Mm-hmm. So I want to wish you at Solid Sword the happiest of Christmases, happiest of Hanukkah celebrations. I just want you to know that we're with each other. Mm-hmm. And because you are with each other, your arms and that kind of love has stretched across an entire ocean yet again for another year, not in insignificant ways. But I want us to now say a little bit of reflection. So what do I want? Why do I want it? And then decide, what am I going to do about it? And nobody knows how to make moves like you guys. So just know that we are sending tons of love and respect your way. And I'm just so honored, Michelle. Thank you for letting me be part of this. I remember one time we were up on the stage and we shot some confetti into the air. Remember?
I know.
I just want to like shoot some confetti in the air.
I know. And pretend everybody's in the room.
Yes, come on. Well,
you know what I can definitely say to you is just how much we appreciate you. But as funny as you are and your sense of humor is amazing, and that's what makes the book so easy to just power down. But I do want to share with our agents, you get extremely, detailed and focused. I mean, there's a checklist in there. And for those of us who love checklists, you've got a checklist in there. And I love it because you'll make a point, like clear the path. Like when you're saying, this is, discover where you are and then where you want to go. And then when you're talking about, okay, you've gotten adjacent to it, land the plane. Land the plane.
Yes.
I mean, I love your book. I just love
We had, Michelle, we had there was one speaking event that wouldn't cancel in Arizona, and it was last week. And they said, no, we really want you to be there. And I wasn't feeling that comfortable about being on a commercial plane. So I thought, well, I'm a pilot. I could rent a plane and fly over there. So I got this crummy plane and we put some gas in it. And I thought, what could go wrong? So I flew over there. Everything was great. Guess what? On the way back over the desert, two of the instruments I needed dropped out. They stopped working. I'm like, dang. Actually, I don't think I said dang. So what I did, you're in the desert. There's no horizon. There's no lights. There's no stars out. And so what I did is I leveled the wings and I just gained altitude. I just said, I'm going to go a little bit higher and I'm going to level the wings because there's a mountain range between Phoenix and San Diego. And so for the next hour and a half, I just wings level, gain altitude. And eventually I saw the glow of San Diego. Here's the deal. This has been a really disruptive time. People, it's Solid Source. I want you to level the wings.
Yes.
I want you to gain a little bit of altitude. Again, if faith guides your steps, I want you to see the way God sees this from on high, right? Gain a little altitude and just trust that what we're going to see is a glow. And here's the crazy thing. We always already see it. You just watch in the coming months. We're just going to see that glow get brighter and brighter. And it isn't just city lights. It's hope. It's people like you pulling together to say, we've got a bright, bright future. And you're making it bright and the future bright for all these students everywhere too. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I
love you, Bob Goff. I love Des team. We thank you so much, Bob. And just thank you for kicking off Agent Appreciation Day. And especially thank you for writing that book because you've changed definitely my life. But I'm about to change the lives of over 1,800 more. So,
oh, so good. And when each of you get to the end of the book, I put my cell phone number on the last page.
It really is his number.
Call me up. I'll send you a pizza.
All right, Bob. We love you.
Love you too.